Hello everyone, my name is Imal, and in this demo I will showcase our live platform. First I will start by logging in. I will sign the transaction, approve it, and once you log in, you can see your impact overview directly, your total emissions, your offset credits, your certificate, and your marketplace total purchase. You can even see your emission overview, your emission versus offsets, we have a quick option bar over here, and we also have your recent activity. Now let's begin with the first feature, which is the upload data tool. Now, as you can see, over here we will upload our emission data and will calculate your carbon footprint and generate a verifiable certificate. It shows you the recommended data format and some supported activities and tips for a better result. You can also download a sample file and fill it up and upload the Excel file back here. I'll go ahead and upload an mock data file. You can see it shows you the data preview, the column analysis, and the sample data of your first 5 rows. Now, it processes the emissions, and when our backend calculates the emissions from your data, it automatically calculates your emissions using the emission factors and standards like the GRI and other GHG frameworks. So it's always accurate and compliant. Now over here you can see your total emissions, the data quality, so you can always go back and refill the form if the data quality is low. You can see the overview, the categories, activities, and details. Now we'll go ahead and generate a certificate. Now, to process these emissions in our certificates, you can see the total emissions, the categories, the data points, and the issue date. You can even see the emission breakdown. Now, we have an option to encrypt the sensitive data using the RCM MPC, which is our private mode, but we'll go ahead and generate the certificate without it. Now, creating this will create a blockchain verified certificate on Solana as a CNFT and also create a log of it on chain by a memo transaction. As you can see, we have approved the transaction. We can see the NFT log and the certificate log. We can view them on chain right here. This is the NFT log, and we can also see the certificate log, which contains the memo transaction of all the details used. Your breakdown, your certificate ID, and the version you use, everything is audited on chain. Now, we can share, copy, and download the PDF. And next, I'll show you the GHG calculator tool. The GHG calculator tool. Now, the GHG calculator, you begin with defining organization and operational boundaries. So you select the organization, the organizational boundary, the approach type, the operational boundary, and which scope you want to calculate for. You can change this later on as well. So as you can see, I've already added some values here, and now the GHG calculator simplifies data entry and supports over 200 fuel types and even a custom fuel factor, as you can see here. You add activities and see your total emission update in real time. Let us add another scope 2 activity. Let's go with cooling and district cooling. Let's add this, and let's also add another scope 1 activity, fugitives, and let's add in HFC gas. We'll add it in later. So we'll just add one because these are high in emission. They have a very high emission factor, as you can see. And now we can go towards the fuel results. Now we can see the detailed calculations over here, and we can also see the emission breakdown by scope. Now we can either directly export this report as an Excel or CSV file or generate the certificate. Now this is the same certificate like we generated in upload data, but with the total emissions, the scope and boundary approach and categories and activities calculated. You can see the detailed activities, the calculation summary, the assessment details, and the emission breakdown. Now we'll go ahead and generate a certificate, but with private mode on, which encrypts the emission breakdown using RCM MPC, and you can see what gets encrypted and what stays public. So RCM basically encrypts the sensitive emission data using the multi-parts computation, which is MPC. So emission data is encrypted but still verifiable. So let's go ahead and generate the certificate. Now this will also create an CNFT and also an audit log and an NFT memo, an audit memo transaction on Solana. We can go ahead and see the NFT after we approve the transaction. Now you can see the blockchain verification, the NFT mint transaction, the audit log transaction, and we can actually go ahead and see our NFT in our wallet. This is the NFT we generated for the GHG calculator with the total emissions. Now you can see it only shows you total emissions, doesn't show you the breakdown of the emissions or the categories with the description right here. The upload data page where we use the Excel file, you can see the total emissions, you can see the exact breakdown and in which scope it was happening, like electricity, natural gas. Since we did this in private, so our certificate from GHG calculator will not show this sensitive data. Now I will show you the certificate page. This certificate in our certificate page, I will take you directly to it. You can see the GHG calculator certificates and the emission certificate. This certificate is the certificate we calculated using upload data. And now I will show you our retirement process. Let's go ahead and go to our private GHG calculator certificate we generated. You can see you can decrypt it to view the details, but it has to be the wallet address that you generated the certificate with. So we can click here and it will decrypt the emission breakdown completely for us since this was sensitive data. You can hide it again, and now I'll bring you to the offset this certificate, the retirement process of our project. Now, what do I mean by offsetting the credits? So, to achieve carbon neutrality, organizations can purchase carbon offset credits from our marketplace, which I will show you later. And so, when you choose to offset your certificate, you interact with the smart contract, which we have created for this, which logs the details and triggers the burning of the CO2 tokens that we bought from the marketplace. So, it burns the tokens from your account and permanently removes them from circulation. Now, let's retire this certificate. Let's retire 100 credits. Now this will also again create an audit log and a memo transaction, which stores the memo audit log. You can see your retirement history here, and you can view the transaction as well. So the certificate is updated to being partially offset, and you can see your offset progress. Now if you go ahead and mint the certificate again, this will create an updated certificate, and it will be in your wallet, where you can see the retirement history as well, and also the offset progress. It should come by our backend. So yes, your certificate is minted. So it should be the latest certificate. As you can see here, it's not this one. Just a minute. Yeah, so you can see the certificate type is offset certificate. You can see the total emissions, offset amount, the offset percentage, the remaining emissions, and since it was private, it's not showing you the emission breakdown over here. So you can also see the description of it. Welcome to the Climate Carbon Trade Marketplace. This is your direct link to real-world climate action. This is where organizations like yours can actively participate in offsetting their carbon footprint. Now, the credits we use to offset our certificates, we can buy those credits from our marketplace. Now, on our marketplace, you will find carbon credits offered by verified projects, developers, and trusted partners from around the globe. These projects are selected with rigorous validation to show that they generally reduce or remove greenhouse gas emissions. So why buy here? Why do we buy it from the climate marketplace? Because it's more than just purchasing credits. It's about verifiably offsetting your emissions and directly supporting sustainable development. Every credit you buy here helps one critical environment project, like the Rajasthan solar farm or the Amazon rainforest, contributing to a greener planet. So I'll show you by buying tokens. Let's buy 100. Now, again, this is also directly logged on-chain using a memo transaction and also in our audit log. You can see our balance change as well in real time. Now, since the balance changed from 800 to 908, now you 808 to 908, sorry. So now you can use these credits to retire your own GHG emission certificates. Now I will show you our SEMA tool. So ClimeMate integrates a stakeholder engagement and materiality assessment tool, which helps organizations identify key topics, engage with stakeholders, and align their reporting with global standards like GRI. And this tool is also completely auditable, and each and every step is logged on chain. Now this is the most innovative tool that I've created. I will show you with the demo organization so you get a better understanding. So over here you can see your overview of the SEMA process, your stakeholder sample size and reports, the SEMA process flow, and the GRI framework integration. Now once we move to the stakeholder management, this is basically where you can add your stakeholders, and we have every single formula processed through our backend, which will give it a score on influence, priority, and give it a total score as well. Now let's move on to, you can see the 12 key stakeholder categories here for your references and for the client's reference. Let's move on to the sample size calculator. Again, you can see the formulas we use for the sample size calculators down here. And once we go up here, the sample size calculator will calculate the sample size of how many people or stakeholders you must send the evaluation form or questionnaire so you can get the best result. As you can see, we've calculated population size 500, and for employees we need to send it to 385. Same for customers and so on. Now we go to the questionnaire engine. The question engine, this will send out a form to the stakeholders, and particularly to the amount we calculated in the sample size, and we will ask GHG related questions and bring the response back to the questionnaire engine. As you can see, the material topic overview, material topics, and their responses. So this will get the score and the response and add it over here. Then when we move on to our internal assessment, basically internal assessment, it will tell us if the topic is a material or not. As you can see here, you can see its significance for GHG emissions, employee health and safety. If the significance is above our threshold we have set, then it is a material topic, otherwise it is not. And you can delete and add new topics and everything. Now you see over here we have the risk assessment matrix, which is just basically severity into likelihood. So the topics on your top right, which is the GHG emissions, the 25, it is the most risky and the most likelihood of happening. And as you go lower to 1, this is the most with the lowest likelihood and the lowest severity. So now if we go back to our materiality matrix, this will show you exactly what you need to focus on. The high priority is the sector or the properties that you want to focus on, like GHG emissions, the economic performance, the employee health and safety, the circular economy practices. This is generated through the external and internal values we provided. And as you can see, the climate change impact is a low minimum, and the talent retention is also a low minimum. So these are your properties that you really need to focus on. Now if we go to the reporting dashboard, if you go to the reporting dashboard, over here you can see exactly the complete process and the key matrices. How we have narrowed down and lowered the stakeholders engaged from 12 to 5, the topics assessed were 24, and the material topics from 33 to exactly 13, and the GRI disclosures mapped to it were 10. You can finalize the SEMA report, and you can see the final material topics right here mapped to their GRI disclosures. And as you keep going down, you can also see the disclosure mapping, how it's done, and then you have the export options, and then you have the GRI compliance status. Now, this was on demo mode. I will just show you by adding one of the stakeholders and show you how the process is logged in the on-chain. So let's go to admin panel, and let's go to add a client. Let's add a client, ClimeMate, industry is tech, medium, status is active, brief description will do a test. And as you can see here, the privacy settings, you can again enable privacy mode on this, like we did for our certificates, which uses RCM to encrypt the data, which is most important in our SEMA model, as it's all confidential data. So we can enable it right here and create a privacy mode SEMA client. Let's just add the client for now. Now, as you see, when you add the client, you have to approve the transaction. So the memo, the Solana memo is stored on chain, and you can see the transaction ID and the data hash. So if we go to here, you can see the memo over here, and you can see the log of what we actually just did by adding the client name, the details, and everything like that. If you even delete a client, it will be logged on chain and also in our audit log. I'll just show you real quick. So it's waiting for the signature. Once we approve it, it's done, and the client is deleted. Now, let me go back to our ClimeMate. It is active, yes. Let's go to stakeholder management. So everything is empty as you start because you have to fill it out yourself, send the forms, gather the responses. It's all an automated process. Let me just add a stakeholder. You can enter the stakeholder name, customer, stakeholder, NGOs. I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm just trying to explain it to you. It's at 2000, and this is where you enter the value of the economic dependency, social dependency of the customer, and the economic influence, the environmental influence. Let's add these values for now. So as you can see, the values are added and you have to log the transaction on-chain. So this method is done throughout the process of SEMA. So it's completely auditable and completely logged on-chain and in our audit logs. Go to the sample size calculator, you can edit the margin of error, the population, the confidence level, and then you will get the sample size verification here once we save the parameters. It's the same for questionnaire engine, and it happens throughout the process. So everything is completely auditable on-chain. From our SEMA tool, we also have a verify certificate page where you can enter the transaction signature of your memo. So it will pull the information from the memo and show you the certificate details. And if it's a private certificate, of course, it will not show you the sensitive data like the emission breakdown or the exact user who generated the certificate. You can decrypt it with the RCM encryption key that the user is provided with. We also have an audit log page where each step of everything that we've just done is logged as well. That includes the stakeholder management, the admin plan when we added the client. You can see the memo, the details, same for when the stakeholder is added. It's done for when we offset the offset certificate minted, when we minted the offset certificates, when we retired the credits, and it goes with same with when we generate a private certificate or if we create an upload data certificate. Every single thing is audit logged on chain, and we can pull these details and show it in the audit log in our page as well. We also have EV charging, which is EV charging dashboard, which is powered by the Charge Network. This is where you can earn carbon credits for every kilowatt hour you charge your car. So you can track your impact and get rewarded for sustainable driving. So let's go ahead and claim one of the sessions we have. Once you approve and claim the transaction, you can see we also have the live feed, the marketplace, and the virtual world. So you can see the 3 trees are planted. You gain a little bit of XP, and you also get the memo transaction, which is logged on chain for this happening, as well as in our audit log. So you can go to the live feed, which shows you the live charging feed of active now, the credits earned, the total sessions, and then you can refresh it. Of course, there's a marketplace for points where you can buy EV charging rewards, digital rewards, and partner offers. And of course, there's a virtual world as well, which shows you the recent achievements. You can view your achievements here, and you can go back, and you can also see your forest. It's just a forest which shows you how many trees you've planted. And you also have the charge map, which is basically a virtual land ownership. So for example, I have bought this piece of land where I own the plot and I have a level 3 charger installed. So whoever charges using it, I also get paid for it. So I'm renting it and I'm getting passive income from it. So that should be all the tools mostly covered. This demo might be quite long, so I'm really sorry about that. But just to end, this should be all. So I would love to talk about all the tools and features, but the demo, of course, is getting too long. So thank you very much. The implementation of Solana has been done through Solana smart contracts, the multiple smart contracts, the Rust programs created for the retirement credit process. I've also set up a multi-sig wallet which sends out funds, the CO2 tokens, to these contracts once they run out. Implemented a lot of Solana protocols and projects like the Decharge network and the Sanctum gateway, which allows multiple path transaction delivery, RPC and Cheeto, which with automatic refunds, and also of course the RCM network for the encryption part of the sensitive data. So thank you so much for your time today.